Everybody, welcome back to another video. Not a reaction this time. As you can tell by the title, we are going over our animes of the year. I have a top five. I actually had a top 10, but I was like, five actually feels better, mainly because Dustin and Bree only gave me five. So I figured I'll just match them, and it keeps the video shorter and easier to edit and easier to talk about shows, in my opinion, instead of having to be like, here's 10, here's nine, here's eight. I could probably do a full top 10. If you want that, ask me and I'll put it down below. If your favorite show isn't on the list, I'm sorry. It just what is what it is. Dustin and Bree have some very eclectic top fives, and I really like their top fives a lot. Mine, if you've been following the channel and you know my taste, you should probably guess what my top five is going to be. But besides that, I'm also going to be talking about my favorite video games that I played this year, mainly one. But we're going to get started here with the best video games I played this year and my favorite one. 2024 was the year I really fell in love with video games again, mainly JRPGs, and I actually attribute all that to Persona. Funny enough, I was never a big Persona guy. There's a video of me talking about Persona 3 Reload back from, I want to say, March. Go check that out when you can. But I wasn't the biggest Persona fan. I was actually more of an S&T head back in the day. I played, of course, 3, Nocturne, all that good stuff. And I never really gave Persona a shot. I just thought, I'll eventually get to it. And by the time Persona 4 had come out, I was already in the military. I was very busy. I didn't play a lot of games. I played a lot of sports games with my fellow sailors, and so I really didn't have time for a lot of JRPGs. I played a lot of Pokemon, played a lot of handheld stuff, but not JRP stuff. JRPG stuff. You could argue Pokemon is one, but that I digress. Yeah, so I kinda just didn't play any of the Personas. I heard about Persona 5 when that came out. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I heard about Royal when it came out. That's cool. Music seems pretty badass. Eventually, I'll get around to it. It's one of those games you just keep putting off because you're like, "Oh, I'll get to it. I'll probably like it." I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, putting it off over and over and over again. Uh, so one day, I wanna say it was in February, March, I was thinking about playing Persona 3 Reload, and I was looking at reviews. I was like, okay, maybe I'll just give it a shot. It was on Game Pass. I was like, I have 1 month of Game Pass left. Let me let me squeeze this in before I cancel Game Pass. So I played Persona 3 Reload, and I'm like, oh no, I really, really like this a lot. And so I dived in headfirst to Persona 3 Reload. I'm not gonna say it's 'cause it changed my life or anything like a lot of people do. If it changed your life, great, but it didn't change mine. It just kind of reaffirmed my beliefs about how you live life and stuff like that. But that ending, my god, and I had somehow not been spoiled for the Persona 3 ending at all, so it came as a shock to me. I could see where it was coming at the end, but I'm not gonna talk spoilers, but that was a ride, and it made me emotional, and then episode I guess did the same thing to me, and then I was like, "Alright, let me finally jump into doing Persona 5," and I did Royal. Once again, and I was like, "Alright, I'm digging the hell out of this. This is great. This music's fantastic." Although I liked Persona 3 Reload's story better, Persona 5 is a better game, and the story isn't no slouch either, especially there in the third semester with Maruki and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, I have to do 4 now, right? I mean, I have to do Persona 4 Golden. I don't have, there's not going to be a remake anytime soon, maybe down the line. So I was like, all right, let me do that. And I actually stream that a lot on this channel. You can go check out my VODs and all that stuff on the live tab there. Eventually, I'm going to move that over, but and I was like, Persona 4 Golden. Loved it. I love the cast, the vibes. I love the city. I think it's my favorite setting on the Persona games. And so, like, my favorite game of the year is just Persona, right? That's just a cop out answer. If you're gonna put a gun in my hand and ask me Persona 3 Reload, right? I can't beat the feeling I had at the end of that game. And ending to any story, anime, movie, video game is so important to me because to me that's the last impression you're gonna leave on somebody. To have such a strong ending like that really will stick with me. Played Metaphor as well. I should shout out Metaphor. I really liked Metaphor a lot. I just didn't have that same emotional like high I had from Royal or with Reload, and around the same as Golden. And the cast of Metaphor is fantastic, but I digress. All good games, all JRPGs. What can I do, right? That's the game series I was in this year for. But yeah, let me know your favorite games down below, and we'll get to the animes of the year and all that stuff for the channel. So first up for the 3 people who react to this channel, we'll start with Bree and her top 5 anime of the year for 2024. Number 5, we have Go Go Loser Ranger. Now, I love the crap out of Go Go Loser Ranger. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Basic premise is basic. One of the bad guys from Power Rangers infiltrated the Power Rangers to basically topple them, and then other political things happen. It's a wild ride, and the Power Rangers are actually really much assholes in anything. It's a wild ride. It's a fun show. It would probably be in a top 20 for me, not top 10, because I liked the hell of the show. I just had a few shows, or quite a few shows that I liked a lot better, but it was an enjoyable ride week to week. There's also so many crazy things that happened, and that ED is fantastic. So definitely check out Go Go Lose Ranger if you haven't. Number 4 for Brie is Mysterious Disappearances. I'm actually shocked she put this on her list, mainly because I felt like the pacing was very rushed, and come to find out later on that it was an anime original ending, so that kind of makes some sense. But like Brie, I love the horror aesthetic of anytime a show does horror aesthetic, supernatural aesthetics rather really well. I love it. The arc with the VTuber was fantastic. The characters are fantastic. Yes, the main character's got some giant weapons. I'm sure you've seen them somewhere on the internet, especially when the anime was coming out. Because this was coming out at the same time as Viral Hit, and I remember we watched this and Mysterious Appearances Viral Hit back to back, and it was a wild time. I loved it. But yeah, the folklore was great. I always loved the Japanese folklore rooted in history and stuff like that. The stuff with the teacher was fantastic. But I can see why she put this in number 4. It'd be a little bit hard pressed for me to put this high on my list, mainly because, like I said, that pacing felt off to me toward the end, and I think they scrambled to get it finished. And I'm sad that they didn't decide to like expand on it, and probably won't get a second season. So I'm gonna read that soon, I think. And yeah, definitely. For number 3, we have Seventh Time Loop. I'm not surprised Brie has this on her list. Me and her love the heck out of this show. Basic premise: a princess basically gets reincarnated over and over again until the seventh time, where she basically is getting engaged to her worst enemy. That'll cut and jib and all that good stuff. But no, it ends up being a very interesting thing of her different lives, from being a scientist basically to a smuggler to a merchant to, we think maybe she was an assassin at one point. We don't know, but a soldier is what she is this time. But this time she's going to be a queen to basically the world's enemy that killed her in a previous life. Very interesting. The main MC, she is fantastic. Um, I like her characterization and everything with her. I actually like the main dude a lot too, because he's had a rough trauma childhood, and you're just trying to figure him out, like she is. My only nitpicks on that show is mainly because issues like mainly it kind of felt like, once again, going back to like 4, a lot of these nitpicks are going to be for these shows are going to be just rushed, right? I felt like the whole thing with her and what happened with the certain fireworks thing was kind of rushed a little bit. I can understand it though, but it definitely became a very popular show for us during that season. And like I said, I have no issue with her putting it on her third on her top 5 of the year. I'm never going to have any issues with anybody's top fives or any animes of the year. You have different tastes. That's just the name of the game, man. But yeah, Seven Time Loop, not shocked. Number 2 for Brie here, Wisteria Wand and Sword. Another one I'm not surprised on. For me, Wisteria Wand and Sword was really good. I really like the main character. Will is great. Elvira is a great and cute love interest for her dude. She's overpowered. The one thing I want to see from that show, though, going forward is less of the, oh my God, everyone hates Will. Literally, everyone hates Will. And I want to see that expand more. And I feel like that's what they're doing. They were just kind of cooking prologue style with this first season. I think if they're going to set us up more, we have basically the exam slash him graduating. But I've heard good things from people who've read the manga, where the world opens up immensely once we get going here. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, it's a hype show. It was animated really pretty. Don't know when we'll get us. Oh, well, we've had the second season announcement. We just don't know when we're going to get the second season. But yeah, I could definitely see why Bree would put this on her, because it was an enjoyable time. That was a stacked season too. Lastly, Bree's number 1 anime of the 2024 year was Undead Unluck. Not shocked. I love the crap at Undead Unluck just like she did. She even cosplayed the main character at AX. We had so much fun with this show, and it was an interesting take with the whole unstuff, where the world rules were like crazy, and you had unfair, unjust, you had undead, and she unluck. She basically you basically were so unlucky because meteors would fall out. Just the comedy was fantastic. I love the chemistry between the two leads because it was romantic. It opens up the world with this whole like apocalyptic stuff that's crazy. And the only downside nitpick is that it kind of bogged down a little bit there toward the end with the whole author stuff. Even though I really liked the author stuff, it felt like we're once again, pacing was a little bit, like, kinda chugging along for me a little bit, and then going back, it's like, "Okay, what's happening? What's going on?" I'd have to do a rewatch, but I'm once again, like, I'm mad at that. Undead Unluck was a fantastic show. I want more. I want that 2nd season, and I can't wait, to get that 2nd season, hopefully, soon. But yeah, that is Bree's top 5. Let's move over to Dustin's top 5 now. So Dustin's number 5 pick for anime of the year of 2024 is My Instant Death Ability is So Overpowered. This was a crazy isekai, and once again, if you're fans of the channel, and if you're not, like, hit that like subscribe button, please. But if you're fans of the channel, you know me and Dustin love the crap out of our isekais. Trash isekai, fantastic isekai, isekais all abound, and there'll be more isekais on Dustin's list, believe you and me. But um, yeah, My Instant Death Ability was so overpowered. It's such a fun show because trying to figure out what he is, what his abilities are, how he just kills people, just saying die, and how he can do it through a camera, through something else, killing immortal vampires, them becoming basically lollies. It's a crazy show. And I can understand why Dustin would put it on his list. My issue with this show mainly stems from how much they try to throw in towards the end there. And it feels like I haven't read it yet, and I really do want to read it, but it feels like they threw so much so fast because they were just trying to get stuff in, right? They were just trying to be like, la, 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 la. And I think they should have slowed down. It stopped a bit because trying to remember characters who did what and who, what factions were with who, besides the main people. They had too many people in the cast and they didn't focus on people enough in my eyes besides the main characters, which could be the thing. It was kind of parody a little bit there, but I wanted it to slow down a little bit. I still had an enjoyable time. Completely understand why Destin would put this on our his for his number 5. And yeah, it's actually it was I mean, I want to say My Instant Death Ability was probably our most watched reaction, at least consistently, because people love the crap out of that. And I understand why. It's a fun show. Number 4 for Destin here for his anime of 2024, Dungeon Meshi. I love the shit of the show, and I'm so glad Destin put this on his list because it barely misses out on my top 5. It's like you when you get to my top 5, you'll understand because Dungeon Meshi was such a fun show. The world building was fantastic. The food is fantastic. The character writing is fantastic. The twists and turns, and I it's so amazing. And I think it might be Trigger's best work, to be honest. And that's saying something because they did Cyberpunk and they did Kill a Kill. But I love the crap out of Dungeon Meshi. I am begging for another season soon. But I even I got to see a panel with the author. That was really cool to see that and to experience that the panel. But yeah, everything was about it was so great. The food made you hungry. Cincy in the bed. I'm gonna post a thing here that shows that. That still kills me to this day. Just seeing Cincy in the bed with his hair out. It's supposed to be a serious moment, but it was like, bro, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing, Cincy? What you doing? And the dub apparently is really good with Prosody and stuff like that, voicing people. But I can't fault him. Dungeon Meshi was fantastic. I love the crap out of that. The world is so cool. The dungeon's so cool. And just the mystery is amazing. And you just it leads you to the edge of your seat. The good news it is a full adaptation. It will be a full adaptation because the manga is completely done, which I love to see it. Number 3 for Dustin's 2024 Anime of the Year list is ReZero Season 3. Not shocked. It would be on my top 5, but I have a rule. Like some other people have this rule. If you don't, you don't. But my rule is if the anime doesn't finish in the year, it doesn't count. Right. And this is gonna happen for me in my list. You'll see. But if it did finish, if say that was the end of season 3, I would have been like, oh man, there should have been more. It'd be my top 5 probably. ReZero is such a classic. It's so good. And this season alone, Subaru is just showing that he is getting so good at this whole thing. He hasn't even had to die once yet. He hasn't had to return by death yet. We got mysteries stuff with Al, Priscilla being best girl, just destroying things and just being female Gilgamesh. I love to see it. Priscilla might be a favorite female character in that show now. And really need to go and start reading the web novel, but I'm scared to because of just I want to react to it on cam with you guys on the anime side. But fantastic ReZero once again. Just it's why I consider on the Mount Rushmore of greatest isekais with Mushoku Tensei and Overlord and Slime and stuff like that. But yeah, ReZero season 3 has been a ride, and Dustin doesn't give a shit about rules, so he's like, "It's on my list. I'm like, I'm not gonna fault you." Number 2, and I'm so glad he put this on his list because it would be on mine if other shows didn't happen. But Ishura came back, I believe it was last winter, and we get the second season here in a couple weeks. Isha was such a fun ride. Another kind of isekai thing when we had people who got isekai into this world, but it's a big tournament arc with some of the world's most broken people. Somebody who can manipulate the world just by using words. Um, Somebody who basically can cut anything. Somebody who was a skeleton. We had the Mandrake who do poison. We have an Angel of Death, and we barely scratched scratched the surface apparently with the characters in that show. I love the political drama with it, with the demon and not demon, and then someone taking over, and then a coup happening, and there's so much good to love with Ishura. It's a little bit slower paced show, but when the action hits hard, and it makes you like the characters. Only downside for me on Ishura is they killed the hot chick. I'm not gonna say who it was, but you'll probably find out if you haven't seen it because she was smoking. And so yeah, that's my only nitpick. How could you do that? We got other good waifus in that show, and we got good respondos in that show too. And number one for Dustin, no surprise. Once again, Dustin doesn't give a shit about your rules. His number one anime of 2024 was Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Technically, it counts in my book. It does count because it actually finished this year. We had the whole second half of Frieren, and what do you want me to say about Frieren? Right, it's one of the best animes. Like this last few years easily, and there's a reason why it's rated number one on Mal. However, however you want to take those Mal lists, it is what it is. But I can't fault for people making their anime of all time. My only thing is like I need to see the ending of Free Room before I crown anything. I need to see ending of anything before I crown anything the best of all time. It's just hard for me to do that, right? I need that ending. It needs to be good ending. But the way Free Run's cooking, I could see it having a good ending. But everything from Himmel and Free Run's like love like will never be from time and space and all that stuff. And Rerun as the elf living so long and probably going to see Fern pass away at her life and she doesn't get killed or anything like that. But Freerun's an amazing ride. It's how you do, I think, slow pacing correctly. It's how you do your action scenes really have impact. It's animated beautifully. Recently rewatched just about the entire season. The only downsides, the nitpicks you can say is like, okay, maybe one or two episodes were a little bit slow here or there. I could I could argue that if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to because who cares, right? Who gives a shit? It was a good show, right? It was a great show. It was a show that made you want to watch weekly, and I think that's a sign of a great show. So Dustin's number one show being Free Run Beyond Journey's End for 2024. I'm not shocked. I'm very happy. And you'll probably see that on my list. Maybe. Or did I cut it? Find out next time. Alrighty, your boy Lance's top five anime of 2024. But first of all, we'll do some honorable mentions. Like I said, I wanted to only do a top five, A, to make it harder on myself, and B, to match Dustin and Bree. So there's obviously going to be a lot of shows left out. I just want to shout out a few. Days of My Stepsister, a fantastic show that please don't get put off just because the title, right? It is technically the stepsister and all that stuff. And it may put you off. I get it if it does, but it's a great story. It's got some good heart. It's got like a lot of trauma stuff. Once again, it's another talk I had with my therapist about like relationships. It's very, very good. And there's a thing on Reddit with each episode, the author would comment on like thoughts and things and give context. Such a good experience altogether. Honorable mention there, 100%. Another one, Apothecary Diaries. People, please don't kill me. I love Apothecary Diaries. Everyone on this channel loves Apothecary Diaries. It would probably be in that sixth spot for me. That's six. It'd be tied for sixth, fifth. You can just assume it would be in five. Just in the end, I was like, okay, which one between that one and number five did I enjoy more? And I was like, I think this a little more, but Apothecary Diaries was fantastic and can't wait for that second season. But definitely don't kill us. We really liked that show, man. Apothecary Diaries was amazing. There was some stuff there towards the back half that was like, okay, but some of the arcs they had were so good. So good. Definitely check out Apothecary Diaries when you can. My last shout out, I think, for honorable mention is I wanted to shout out No Longer Allowed in Another World. That's probably the show. It's Isekai with Dazai, famous author who gets Isekai that says dying. Great world, great characters. Dazai itself is amazing. The comedy may be hit or miss for some. It's very dark humor at some points, but it's got some great heart and great arcs. Oh, I love No Longer Allowed in Another World. Now let's go to my top five anime of 2024. Number five, Osho no Ko Season 2. Like I said earlier in my little tangent with the honorable mentions there, this could have been Dungeon Meshi. This could have been so many shows. Apothecary Diaries probably would be right there as well. Like those just kept going back and forth. I left Dungeon Meshi off because Dustin had it on his list. So it was cool. At least I could talk about that a little bit, but it's like, I really want it on there. It's like it deserves to be up there as well. It's so hard to pick only 5. It's like pick only 5 children. Save kill the other 5. Um, but Oshinoko season 2, fantastic. Some people had a little bit issue. I've talked to other people about this, about how they felt like the play might have been dragged out a bit. I didn't mind it. I actually rather enjoy the play, how they did it a lot. I love the artistic representations of Kana and Akane, and my God, Melt's fucking episode was fantastic. The heart, the stuff with how the behind the scenes stuff with how adaptations are made and scripts are done, and the stuff that happens between people. So crazy, right? Number 4 for my anime of the year 2024, Spice and Wolf. I know people are gonna roll your eyes at me. I don't give a shit. Hollow is still best, one of the best girls, the best girl in anime still. Uh, the way they are at adapting the actual source material instead of skipping stuff is fantastic. I know it's slower for some people. It's about economic talk. And honestly, if you watch the channel, we started reacting to it because Bree never really seen it too much. I was really excited for Bree to see it. The problem is I found I found Spice and Wolf to be very hard to react to. Right, I kind of had the same issue with Vinland Saga, where Vinland Saga is a great show, and you're kind of like just kind of going along with the plot and the politics, and you can have a discussion afterwards, but a lot of people aren't going to stay for discussion. A lot of people stay for just reaction, which is fine. Spice and Wolf, fantastic. They did this season justice. Hollow's still amazing. I still like some of the art from the original better a little bit, but it's one of my favorite romances and stuff like that, and slice of lives, and like, oh, there's so many good supernatural. It's so good. Spice of Life is amazing. Like Hollow is amazing, dude. Hollow was one of my first waifus. Anyway, Spice Wolf is number 4. Number 3. This top 3 was actually very hard for me, right? Top 5, top 10 was God kill me, but top 3, and I think I settled on Makane, Too Many Losing Heroines for number 3. It's a lot of people's animes of the year. I wouldn't fault you. It would be right there, honestly. If you asked me a different day, it might be my anime of the year. But Makane was just a joy to watch. Nogazumi, one of the best MCs this year for me, and so refreshing because he's kind of self-aware a little bit, like, "Oh shit, I'm not the light novel protagonist, and yada yada yada, and I'm seeing all these females lose," and like he ends up being a friend to them, which is great. And like, you legit think any of the girls could win, and then maybe none will win. Maybe Nukazumi just hangs out and just stays friends with them. I wouldn't mind that either because the way they have him gone so far is great. Obviously, they're pushing him towards Anna a bit more, but Anna's a great character. Lemon's a fantastic character. Kanmari, everyone, man. Like, I want more of the Garu zombie chick. That's probably next season, hopefully. If we get we better get that second season announcement. I swear to fucking God. If you're watching this somehow, mocking the people, you better make that a second season. I swear to God. Um, please make this a second season. I'll read it if I have to. And I heard this one of those things where the anime actually elevates the source material, which is fantastic. That's the case. Like I said, in these type of shows, the sidecast characters makes everything, and every character has been solid. I like them. I don't hate them. I want to see them on screen. And yeah, just a fantastic show. And Nokazune himself, like, he's even fucked up in the show, which I love to see because it doesn't make sure he's not the one he's not Mr. Fix It. He can't fix it all. He made a huge mistake there toward the end, and it almost cost him things, but it didn't. He learned from it and he pushed somebody else forward at the same time. So it kind of helps. But Makane, Too Many Losing Heroines, please go watch that show. You've probably seen a lot of clips of it, but that's my number 3. Number 2 is Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Yes, Dustin has this as number 1. I had this as my number 2, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I almost had it 3. I almost had Machina beating it, but I recently rewatched Free Rent, and I was like, "God damn, this is a really good show." Like I said before, you could nitpick pacing, a little bit slow episodes every now and then, but even the slow episodes were just so good. And that last arc was fine too. Like, it was good, but wasn't as strong as that first core arc where we starting to travel, and once we got our friends, and Fern's amazing, Stark's amazing, Freeman, of course, is amazing. The world's opening up more. Siri's amazing. I love her a lot. I love her pettiness. You know, this channel loves petty, and she's like, "You can't be here for the next 1,000 years." That's hilarious to me. I love Siri for that. But Freeman, Beatrice Zen, my number 2, and it's fantastic. I can't gush enough about that show. And number 1 on Lance's 2024 anime list is, let's say it together. 3, 2, 1. Dangers in My Heart season 2. Yes, if you follow my channel, I've said it since it came out last winter. It's gonna be hard pressed to beat Dangerous in My Heart season 2. It was so good, right? And so much cooking happened and so much character growth. And I think it works so well because it built so well off season 1 the character growth for each character. Literally somebody like the personification of of somebody's adult self saying, "You love you more than anybody can." Like, you're allowed to love yourself. It's so powerful. There's so many quotable lines from it. Their relationship is so fantastic. Some of the most beautiful shots with confession, and, like, I'm starting to get teary up thinking about it. It was just so beautiful, man. It's just character study of how people can help each other grow. It's just a beautiful show, dude. And if you hate me for having this as my number 1, I don't give a shit. You're probably gonna dislike it and walk away. Cool, right? It's my list. Go make your list. Like, it's my anime of the year, right? And it's on pace to become one of my favorite romances of all time, easily, easily, easily. But just everything about that show. I'm just thinking of 20 different things now about that show that I love so much. But just everything. The characters are fantastic. The mom's fantastic. The sister, of course, is fantastic. Everything is great. The comedy is on point and works. So It's not over the top, but it's good enough. And I really next need that next season hopefully soon. I know we're getting into the manga a bit, so hopefully we get enough material for a third season. But danger sweep, as the kids say. But that is my number one anime of 2024, Danger's in My Heart season 2. And that's gonna basically do it for this video. Hopefully it's not too long. We'll see. See what I cut, not cut. I rambled a lot, but I just wanted to do like a sit down talk thing. I don't do these at all. I wanted to change my lens out and mess around a little bit. I want to be fancy for you guys for once. Let me know your thoughts on your favorite anime from this past year. What do you think I missed on this list? There's a few on there that people will probably like yelling at me for like, why is Dandadan on this list? Dandadan also another honorable mention. It just needs it. I was so bad taste in my mouth for how they put that they cut that in the middle there. And just like, well, do it next season. Like that's it. But still, it deserves to be a shout out, of course. Like I said, I keep shouting out other anime that could have been in the top 10 easily, but I didn't want to do that. But yeah, Gushing Magical Girls, I love the shit of that show. Sumo Show, I love the shit of that show. I'm just gonna keep rambling off anime. But let me know your list down below, your top fives. You don't have to do a top 10. If you want to do top 10, great. If you want to do top 20, top 30, top 40, top 50, that's just, do it. Do it. Do it. But I think this is my list. And once again, you know, people have different tastes. It's gonna happen. I'm actually super glad that Dustin and Bree had different unique tastes for me. Me and Dustin both having Fruben, no shock. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on your the anime this past year. But and what are you looking forward to next year? There's a lot of good shows next year coming, man. A lot of good shows. I mean, Apothecary is coming back in a couple weeks. So is the 100 Girlfriends That Really Love You. I'll be reacting to that shit. But let me know what your thoughts. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good jazz. If you watched this video, I love you. Thank you for just listening to me ramble on. I'm gonna try to put screenshots up and stuff, but I'm just rambling now. I appreciate you. I hope you had a good, happy holidays, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year's. And let's look forward to 2025 together. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Deuces.